So speak your piece.
In terms of...
You were saying something, I interrupted you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying say it. Continue saying it.
I'm saying that you are saying... Well, let's start off with what you said. Because
Yes.
that's the context of it. You said God gave black people Africa. He gave he gave white people Europe, what is called Europe today. And he
Caucasus Mountains.
And he gave Indians America, what is America today. My point is, what if we all had the kind of perception that we were talking about outside? What if we had the perception that the land that you live in is not yours? Like everyone. We had that thing, the land is not ours, but we respect it because it's what helps us living. It's what helps us to live. For example, I remember when I started doing I did a module called corporate governance. Corporate governance, yeah. I think it's corporate governance. And they were simply talking about the introduction of it, because that gives you the context of the module, saying if you take care of the environment will take care of the people, and the people will take care of the economy. So it's very imperative that you take care of the environment, right? So if we all had that notion that the environment is not ours, but it's ours to take care of.
Yes.
Won't that be a different conversation? Wouldn't we have fights about whose land is it? Like, I understand what you're saying, like the white people, like we cannot take that away from us. The white people took us, like we were living here and then white people just took us. That's true, that was unfair. That was very wrong for them to do. But like outside there, we spoke about being an African. We spoke about, we understood, like you said, we were more human because we understood, we coexisted with our land. We coexisted with all that was on our land. So my thing is, why can't we learn how to get back to that?
I don't think we have to learn how to get back to. I just think the things that where they need to go back to being where they were. It's not so much, I say that because to a certain degree one can argue we have, and that's fair. But for the most part, we haven't lost Ubuntu. We haven't lost our ability. No. Again, you can argue that we have, and it's valid. But again, I like to look at everything, not just what's happening now and how I'm feeling. We haven't entirely lost our spirit of Ubuntu. We haven't lost our ability to love. We haven't lost our ability to see each other as humans. Through all the shit that we've been dealt, we can still smile. We can still laugh. We can still love. We can still forgive. We can still believe. I think that alone is amazing.
I don't think white people are capable of that.
I'm not speaking for white people. I'm not white. I'm speaking for my people. I think we haven't lost that. So because of that, I say I don't think it's so much of us going back as opposed to the things, the environment. By environment, I mean the land. And, the land, the control of it. Because we had it, but it wasn't, oh, this is my land. You are not, or this is my land. You work for me. No. This is our land. We all live.
Yes, sir.
I spend like 80+% of my time with my grandfather when I'm in KZN.
Yeah.
He always gives me the stories, and one of the stories he told me was before the settlers came to the areas where he was living, we needed for nothing. We had land. We could plant our plantation, our vegetables, we would eat. We had cattle, so we had meat. We were lacking that. We didn't have to have jobs. We didn't have jobs. We didn't need them. For what? we had food, we had
good.
shelter, we
We were
built our
living
own
off
shelter.
the land.
Yeah.
We,
We
didn't
lived.
need shops.
We didn't need any of
That's
it.
the same
Right.
story my grandfather
So,
told me.
so when the white man came and he came with his companies and these businesses, he needed a labor force. So who do you get? The natives. Okay, we're going to get the natives to work the land. But now the issue is the natives don't need your jobs.
Don't need nothing.
Some can cut. Okay, I'll work for you for whatever you're paying me. It'll just be I'll buy a shirt. I'll buy a pair of trousers. I don't need it. And so what would happen was, if you worked 5 days a week and on Friday, Anonymous had an event at home, screw the job. I'm going to Anonymous's event. What are you going to do to me? Fire me? Okay. I don't lose anything.
I don't need this.
That was not a good thing for business. So then what the white man said, it's a problem for them, this labor force, because we can't control them, so they can't move as they wish. So now we need a situation where they are compelled to work. Exactly. So it was a law for one.
Yeah.
If you leave work without agreed upon or authorized reasoning or absence or whatever the case was, you would get arrested. That's not a good look. You don't do that to the white man's company. And secondly, what happened was, because we had all of the cattle, we had our leverage, we didn't need your wealth or whatever money you're giving to us, we had to be cut off by the knees. So what would happen was, when the cows went to Etipini, where they would get, it's basically where you clean cars and then inoculate it, there was a notice put out, there's a new vaccination for cows, because there's a new virus of flu or whatever it was that was coming to this area, so the cows needed to be. However, that was only a ploy to kill said cows. So now the cows of the natives were murdered, killed. So now you created a space where I don't have cattle, I don't have leverage, I don't have a way to feed my family, and at the same time you are now offering me a job that's going to give me money or something to feed my family. So now you enhance my dependency on the job that you give me. And so the games begin. And so we worked from there, and then it compounded. But in essence, we never needed what these outsiders came. We coexisted with Earth. We coexisted with. We weren't. If you came into my neighborhood and you had nothing, I would give you a cow.
Let's go.
You would breed that cow. You would have your calves. You would raise them. When they are of age, you return my one cow. You now have your small flock. You grow that, and vice versa.
Exactly.
We were a community. We weren't competitive. We weren't hating. We weren't killing each other. We weren't jealous of. It wasn't.
And I bet you everybody was happier than what
We were all peaceful, even criminals. Even if you would, this blew my mind. Even if you would commit a crime of some sort, right, and you would flee to whatever's next village, or the judge would send out for you, right? He would send an officer, go find Heavy. He is blah 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 blah. You would go to the chief of that said region. I'm looking for Heavy. I was told he was here. The chief, yes, he is here. They would send for you. They wouldn't handcuff you. No. They would send for you. Heavy, there's an officer looking for you.
You come through.
You have committed a crime so and so. You are needed. You would go.
For sure.
No shackles. No handcuffs. You would go. Willingly. It wasn't a fight. You weren't treated like an animal. There was a code that we lived by. There were laws that we honored. Even those that broke those laws, they still respected the repercussions of their actions. And then that stopped.
We took over.
Hey, someone wanted control of something that wasn't even theirs to control in the first place. The imbalance started.
Switched up everything.
And now we're here.
Inequality.
When you don't obey the laws of nature, what happens?
Yeah,
What do you do?
But at the same time, like you said, you like looking at the full picture.
Yeah,
It wasn't completely like that. There were drawbacks.
of course. Nothing was ever perfect. Of course.
So, with that said as well, we look at like, okay, the drawbacks are not things that we're actually supposed to be focusing on, because of the kind of conversation that we're having.
Truth. Let's speak about the truth.
If
Whether
we-
it's
if
in
we
our
just
favor or
sim-
not.
If we're just simply talking about white people and what they took from us and how that goes into play in our modern society and what we are lacking and the kind of values that they stole from us and the kind of codes of living they stole from us and the kind of principles of living they stole from us. How do we rectify that?
For one, I think what the white man's greatest skill, I don't know if you want to say anything, you can jump in.
True.
What the white man's greatest skill, in my view, was the mirror.
How so?
We didn't know what a mirror was,
Okay.
right? So when you don't know something or you've never seen something, and I come to you and I expose you to a new level of knowledge or creation, I have a certain level of power over you. You are, for lack of a better term, subject to my perception. I mold from that point what you see, how you see, what you believe, how you believe it. Let me get this out. So the reason I use a mirror, we never saw that. What is this? Oh, who is that? Wait, what? So the person who brought me that now is in a position of power
Mindfuck.
because they influence now how I think, right? And so I'm going to how we go back to. So that was the beginning. Fast forward centuries later, we're here now. So now we know better. Now we know the game plan because unfortunately, the game plan has never changed. It's still the same thing. So now we see it. Like you did the same thing to my ancestors, bro. Like that game. I know it. I've seen it so many times. So we know what the game is, which means we can now avoid it. We can now call it out. Like, oh no, my grandfather fell for that trap. You're not. So we see what has happened. Because again, the game plan hasn't changed. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Turn us against each other, self-hatred, believe that something outside of us is superior, create a system where we see
These people
representations. They're not, but neither are we.
No.
Create representations of what is deity-like, supreme, right and wrong, bring in the image of God. God has to look like the white man. God has to fulfill a certain image.
Right there.
Of course. The image of beauty and power and excellence are everything but you. So you don't see yourself personified in these spaces. Question your value, where you fit in. Apartheid, slavery. The game plan was make these people believe that this is the natural order of God. God intended for black men to serve the white man.
But then you see that it changes with time.
No.
It suits the society. It changes to suit the society that we live in with time. That's how sophisticated that
The
shit
faces
is.
change.
No, not the faces.
The faces change.
Not the faces.
But the idea
Think
stays
about
the
it.
same.
Think about it. Think about it. The other day we were talking about school. We were talking about the ability to learn something, to learn a skill. You know? Right now there are many people in Wits that went to school, but they're not working in the industry that they are working in.
Yes.
A lot of
Do
people.
you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
now
I think we should have made that a conversation.
the context has been shifted now. It's been shifted to the kind of qualifications you have, you know, for you to meet a certain criteria, for you to have a certain job. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whereas I remember speaking to some other man and he told me that he didn't have money to go to school. and so he started using his hands, and he started providing with his hands. So he had confidence in that. So now we as black people, the majority, because now we're living in the world that we're living in the society that we're living in, we have confidence in, I want to say, office jobs. That's where our confidence lies, and that's how they got us. So then we were working on the farms, and then things became more modern, and now it's all office jobs, and then it stems back to the whole competition thing. Oh yes, I work in an office job now. This is how much I earn. I have a corner office.
Nice.
I'm driving a BMW.
Yeah.
I'm doing this now. Nigga, what do you have? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all that. So
That's why I say same principle.
same principle,
House nigga, field nigga. Same principle, different faces.
but different.
The game plan is
The game
still
plan is the same, but
same.
it just has to suit
That's
the
what
context.
That's what I'm saying.
Then
We've-
Switches
we've
up
seen-
over
yeah,
time.
it has to. It has to.
The game plan hasn't changed.
It's just
The nitty gritties. But overall, again, divide
Still
and
where we
conquer.
at.
Yeah,
Put the
Divide.
nigga in the house. He's better than the nigga working the fields.
exactly.
Same principle. Different slight variations in context, but the idea is still the same. And that's why I'm saying we've seen it now. We know how it works. If I'm a manager at Standard Bank or any other corporation, I essentially am no better than the guy sweeping and mopping the floors at Standard Bank. I'm just given the perception that I'm better, but I have no power in how the company is run.
Exactly. You don't
I have no
you don't
decision.
have
You have
shit.
the ownership.
I have no ownership. I have no equity.
You don't
If
run
my
shit.
child wants to work at the same company, they have to apply much like everyone else.
Can't do
Yeah,
nothing
you-
about
I
it.
don't
Yeah.
own. If I die, I have no
That's
stakes
it.
in
You
the
get-
company.
If you retire, you get a
It's
margin.
only
That's
the
it. Yeah.
illusion. The illusion that I'm better than you who's mopping the floors because I work better hours. I'm given more money. Money which I spend at their companies. Again. But let's not go there. I have more money. So I am better than my light-skinned brother who works the floors or who works at the
And
parking
you know
lot.
what they do to condition that?
So
You know what they do to condition that to make sure that you realize
yeah,
that is a problem. They will accommodate you.
of course.
They will call you up to their houses
It's a nice car, though.
and they'll be like,
Tiger-
"Hey,
Tiger-
Benefits.
don't you want to
Tiger
come with your
Woods.
family?" Like,
Tiger Woods, O.J. Simpson. We've seen this game so many. Again,
I'm not black, I'm
we've
OJ.
seen the play.
You know?
We've seen if you do the dance, you're accepted into the country club. Until you actually want a piece of the pie, then yo, Negro,
You gotta bounce.
you're getting out of your place. You're
gotta
too big for
bounce.
your boots. And it's not even an American thing, it's a worldwide thing because in South Africa, again, we went to the University of Free State, bro. Like, we could argue, man, we free. We went to the same university as these white people. We didn't.
Was rough.
How many
Because when we started to ask questions, when we wanted a piece of the actual pie, like, whoa, slow down.
Come to
That's
first
not
love.
your place. Relax. You're here to study. You should be privileged. You should feel honored that you are here.
Okay, I'm saying how many white interns do you see relative to black interns?
There are none. They don't go there.
There's never
That's for us. We do
Internships is for
internships.
black people. Like
Yo, I went to university, dog. My political science lecturer. We were really tight. He was an amazing dude. My final years, I was talking to him. I was like, man, I'm thinking of getting a job as a junior lecturer. And I'm just like, just trying to make a little money on the side. Dead ass in the eyes, he looks at me and says, how many black junior lecturers do you know?
Yeah.
This was a lecturer of the institution. How many black lecturers do you know?
You know, I actually
I'm
went.
like, yo, damn, like, what
does that mean?
What, like, why would you? He's like, no, I'm just asking. You've been here for some time.
Because you white.
Nah. How many black junior lecturers do you know at this institution? And I got that from a lecturer. And all of this was being said to say certain things were not afforded for us.
It's not for you.
We should take what we're given, but more than that, we should be grateful to get what we're given. So we should know our place. We should be privileged.
So you could have all these ideas.
We should be privileged
it's
just
not
to
gonna
be
work
in
here.
the room.
Fuck that shit.
But because you're there, stay there. Don't
Fuck
then
that
have your own. And this is across the board, everywhere. Corporations in South Africa today, it's the same thing. If I
All
give
over the
you,
world,
if I give you pass to come into this space, appreciate that. Be grateful for the fact that you got the opportunity. Don't come to me and say, "Oh, you want ownership." No, you're being greedy. I gave you this. Appreciate that. Problem number one. So you don't see it if you're chilling. You only see it if you dare even think that you deserve better.
Yeah, the minute you think
Then
that,
you become that. Then you become
open it
that
up
kafir. Like
listen,
if I walk in a room and say, I deserve the same respect you gave that white guy, then it's a problem. But if I'm stepping up and saying, man, I just want an admin job so I can buy my Porto Vivo.
no problem. Come
Listen,
sit down.
You're my buddy. Come here,
through.
son.
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna invite you for
Yeah.
barbecue at my house over the weekend. You can take pictures with my family. You've met
It's
my
gonna
wife
be
and my
okay.
kids.
Yeah.
Come on, like this is my number one sales rep. This is my guy. Okay, that's cool. But now I want a piece of the company.
I want to buy the company.
Then the problem starts. Then we get into the. So I'm saying the principles haven't changed. The game plan is still the same. And we now see it. So the responsibility is on us. Because if we don't do anything about it, our kids look at us like, Mom, Dad, if you saw what was happening, what did you do about it? That's the question you have to answer to your kid. Oh no, son, I knew these white people were killing. Okay, then what did you do? You saw it. Okay, I get it. You knew.
Did you step up?
Now I'm in the same position you were in. But you knew it was happening. I didn't know. I just found out. So what did you do?
So what if she said, I stepped in line because I was thinking about you, because I was thinking of putting plate on your food.
That's what you have to
Then-
give to your
wait,
kid.
But then, no wait, but if she answers you and she says, remember I had you and you were too young to understand this, but let me tell you now that you are old enough to understand this. I did not have the money. I had to do whatever it takes for me to put
Ain't
food.
that what our parents told us?
That's what they're telling us.
Okay, so we're repeating the cycle.
No. You
What
say,
did we do?
Wait, we like
Us,
when-
this
when
generation.
our generation.
What did we do when and I don't even want the answer. It's not for me. When our kids look at us and say, "You saw what was wrong. You saw it. Okay, cool. I get that you saw it. You were conscious. I'm happy for you. But what did you do?
Did you step
Because now I am in the same position that you were in. I am facing the same oppression that you faced. But I didn't know that it was there. You knew that it was there. So what did you do? These are the questions we have to answer to our kids. We won't answer them now or in 5 years' time, but we will answer them. That's why I say, if we see it, we know that this has been happening, then automatically the responsibility is on us.
But the system was built to protect us.
Again, we can point
You know?
these fingers, but what did we do? If you can live with the answer that you give to your kids, man, I'm tapping out. I have nothing else to say.
You won.
I'm cool.
True.
I'm cool. It's none of my business.
But I'm saying, man, like, these things don't just happen in silo, guys. Like, these people, it's not that they are talking about, it's not like what they're enforcing
Yeah.
is something that is completely silo, because they are really tapping into things that we hold dear to our lives. For example, they are tapping into things like family, providing for your family. You know? For example, you could only be we want you to work call center from this time to this time. And you know you've got a kid, and you know you've got this, and you know you've got this, and you, psychologically you're going to be dependent on it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because what you are trying to do is trying to give your child the best. So now, if your child, in the same instance, your child is going to ask you, Dad, what did you do? Like, you can only tell him what you tried to provide for him. You can be like, you know what, I worked for this company, and I worked because I wanted to provide for you. There was nothing else that I could do. If there was, I could do it. Some people have that opportunity where they're like, oh yes, I thought this was not good enough for you, so I took the risk. And I did this so that you could have a greater future. You will have many spectrums of stories. Do you understand me? Like, depending on where you are coming from. But let's not leave that out, because these people press on what is important to you. And it's very difficult to shy away from that decision, to shy away from that, because now this is your family. They're not threatening you with Chelata Pia or Chelata lifestyle. They are threatening you with something that you hold dear to your heart.
Everything.
Your family.
Everything.
Your family, bro. They are threatening you with poverty. Nobody wants poverty.
I feel you, though.
And that is very important to take into account, because when you think about, like, the decision, when you say, like, the decision is very easy. When you say, okay, I've got cows, I don't actually have to go to work, and you know, the decision becomes very easy. Now I have to go to work. Yeah, I have to do like, you know, I have to get more shifts, because now this is the amounts that I'm trying to get at the end of the month. I'm trying to pay rent. I'm trying to pay school fees. And again, the family structures, again, they're different. You get women that are single parents, you know? And now they have to go twice as hard. Do you understand what I'm saying? They have to be there for the kid. They are trying. So there are many factors that contribute to this. We can't just look at this in silo and just say, because this is what they are pressing on. They are pressing on.
I feel you, though.
The crux of what makes us tick.
But again,
it's like holding you gunpoint and saying, do this, or else I kill your mother.
The beautiful thing about that is it corners then us to reveal our true character. When you're staring down the barrel of a gun, there's no facade. Your truth is on the table. Who you really are is on the table. If you're capable of selling out, that's the moment you sell out.
No, but
no.
But we're not selling out.
I'm not saying you are. I'm pointing out that when you are cornered into an inconvenient and seemingly impossible situation, your true self shows. You reveal who you are. And that's why I'm saying these answers aren't even for me. I don't even want to hear them. These are the things that we have to live with. Again, if you are cool with telling your kids what you will tell them, I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
It's not my place, because I'm not the one you're going to have to answer to. Your kids are. My kids are. So whatever I'm doing, I need to be able to look at my kids and tell them, this is what I did and this is why I did it. If I can live with that, I'm cool. It's not a now thing. It's not.
Yeah,
I can say whatever to make you feel. Ndie really has. But that doesn't mean anything. You're not important. I'm not important. We are going to have to face our children, our seeds.
What to prepare for them.
While we see them living in the world that we either helped create or helped destroy, we're going to have to look at them and tell them, this is the part I played in this.